Hello and welcome to Crosstalk. This is Enterprise Television. Well, you know what happens on Crosstalk. We debate national issues, matters that deserve debating. And today on the show, we explore one of the most pressing controversies in Nigeria's education sector, and that's a call for the sack of the registrar of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board called JAMB. And well, that's as a result of the technical glitches that marred the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. On one side, critics say that the recurring challenges, particularly this recent disruptions that affected thousands, close to 400,000 candidates nationwide, are a sign of administrative failure and a breach of trust in a critical national institution like JAMB. They believe the registrar must take responsibility. Well, some others say, especially supporters, claim that while the glitches were unfortunate, they reflect broader systemic issues in Nigeria's digital infrastructure, not personal incompetence on the part of the registrar, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, or his team. They further say that leadership continuity is essential for the reforms we've seen since Prof Ishaq Oloyede became the registrar of JAMB. It's been some few years now. Well, let's hear from both perspectives and explore whether accountability in this case demands resignation or continuation. Let's get talking. I'm joined today by two fine people. Well, the closest generation to the generation that sits for JAMB in 2025. I'm talking the Gen Zs. Well, the alphas are the ones who mostly wrote this particular examination, but the closest generation to them, the Gen Zs, they have a lot to say. They've been boiling, talking about this particular one. They've gone through the system themselves, and they know what they went through, how they feel, and they feel touched by what others have gone through. I'm joined by Mercy Akintola. Mercy, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing today?
Very fine.
Good to have you. Yeah. Also part of the conversation is Raphael Okwamedua. How are you doing, Raphael?
Very well, good, thank you.
Yeah, good to have you on the program. Kingsley Bass is my name. Well, let's begin, shall we? Yeah. I'm not sure where to begin, but you can consider your position, can't you? First, so let Mercy go first, because you know what they say, ladies first,
Ladies
right?
first, yes.
But when it comes to working and hard work, they'll say,
What do you mean?
It's all right. Okay, so let's get down to the conversation. First, I'd like to get your thoughts on how you feel about what went down with the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. When the results were released, first JAMB said, lot of failures, or lot of persons, huge percentage scored below 200. And, people started talking. Before we know, a lot of persons then took to social media complaining that this cannot be my result. Schools started clamoring to say, we know our candidates, we know those we trained. People spend, so much time learning. They cannot fail this way. As a matter of fact, the law firm, Evans Ofeli's chambers, in fact said, no, this cannot be that. And so they even petitioned, right? And before, Nigerians mobilized themselves, petitioned the board, that's the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, and said, this cannot be, let's review this. JAMB obliged, and they're taking responsibility now. You saw the registrar of JAMB fighting back tears. They said, well, to the nation, is sorry for what happened. But let me get your thought again first, before I get your perspective, your point of view, whether or not you should resign or continue. How do you feel about what's transpired with this, the entire process?
For one, I feel this is a very unfortunate incident, one that should not repeat itself in, the nation's educational sector. And I also feel, for one, that this is a one-time thing which should be overlooked. It was a glitch. He has come out to say it was human error. People say systemic glitches and all. But, one can't be perfect. For one saying is there are human errors, no one is perfect. So it could be out of imperfections and all, but he has actually caused a lot of, and so many things. But I believe that it can be overlooked.
Raphael, again, before we get down to the crux of the matter, how do you feel about the conduct of the 2025 examination? You've written this yourself, yeah? You know how this works, and seeing what people have gone through, how do you feel?
Well, honestly, for me, I would say it is a pity that such is happening in Nigeria. I mean, I myself, I wrote JAMB in 2023, and...
That's very recent.
Yeah, quite recent. And looking at the environment and the circumstances leading to the D-Day exam, I find it very, very disheartening that such will be said of Nigeria, that a glitch will happen. I mean, JAMB is every year, right?
Yeah.
And there, I don't know if there's something like a report that every center gives to JAMB as regards to network and, you know, electricity and all that. Because I believe if there is something like that, there's something called foresight. And they say...
hindsight,
yes. And without vision, without planning, there is no progress. So I believe that if there is something like a report being submitted to JAMB at their respective branch offices, this won't happen. I mean, Nigeria is blessed with so much resources, both human and capital, that this glitch won't happen. So for me, I would say it is very disheartening, considering the death of a 19-year-old Faith. May her soul rest in peace.
Yeah, Timi Lane, the Korodu in Lagos-based girl who reportedly committed suicide. Thoughts and prayers with her loved one's sister, who she was staying with as well. I just stick with you, Raphael. So down to the crux of the matter, some have said, oh, this is not enough to say sack or let this man go. Others have said, well, this is too grave a mistake. People went through so much stress. As a matter of fact, we're not sure now if the referenced 19-year-old Timilane who committed suicide was directly affected by this, because we have over 200,000, more than 200,000 candidates in Lagos where you know, she wrote the exam who were affected by this. We're not sure if she's directly affected, but then some have said lots, hundreds, you know, hundreds of thousands of students where candidates were affected, and so let this man go. Where do you stand? Should Professor Ishaq Oloyede, the registrar of JAMB, who has done quite a lot this past few years, should he be sacked or left to continue?
Well, for me, I would say that he should humbly throw in the towel and just resign. Because this is a slap and a blow to Nigeria and to the educational system. I mean, because we are gradually drifting into the digital age, and
some have gotten there already.
Yeah, and we are still lagging behind. Okay, if this happens, yeah, some will say it is a mistake, human error, we are not perfect. Fine, well said. But if this is just said and then nothing is being done, he just comes out and says, okay, I apologize for that. Apologies won't, you know, rewrite the wrong. So I would say he has done well. By even coming out, it's a sign of humility and responsibility. But we feel that it's high time he just, you know, give the seat to whom it is meant to be, and let someone young that is experienced in tech, especially, because even WAEC too is drifting, is moving into CBT.
Yeah.
Okay, so if this happens in WAEC, what's going to be the outcome? What's going to be the outcome?
So you think Prof Oloyede should step down, a younger person should take?
Yes, he has done well as a person. I'm not against him, but I feel that it shouldn't just be something done by the elderly alone. I feel that young people, we have young educated people. I mean, educated to the point that...
Tech-driven too.
Yes, and at tech. Because the world is drifting to tech. Payments are done online from your bedroom. Applying to different things are done on your phone. So we are entering that generation where everything is tech-based. And if we continue in the Middle Ages, of, you know, network glitches and all that. I feel that we won't get anywhere.
Let me turn to Mercy. Mercy, you've heard from Raphael, this man, that's the registrar of JAMB, Professor Ishaq Oloyede should step down for a younger person. Is that your point of view?
No, it's not my point of view. Okay, I'll start with this statement. The leadership is not the absence of crisis here. It's the ability to show face in the midst of the crisis. You know, in this system where we are, where, you know, leaders tend to, you know, deny allegations, deny blame, or defect it. Professor Ishaq came out and said, yes, I admit to these allegations. He was accountable. He was transparent. He allowed for investigations to happen. He allowed for the public scrutiny.
Okay.
Hold on. And then not just that. He didn't just stop at, oh, crying and saying, I'm sorry. He provided remedial solutions and immediate. He didn't say, okay, the people that, you know, had that were victims of this glitch, no problem, next year we'll reduce the amount, the cost for or application forms.
Is it about reducing?
I'm not saying that's what he said. Let me land,
okay,
please.
okay.
He didn't just say that's the solution. He said, you know what, we are going to make this immediately, effectively. No problem. We know the number of people that this thing has affected, about 297,000 people, almost 400,000.
Yes.
No problem, we're going to call you. You're just going to print your examination slip, and then immediately you're going to... They wrote yesterday.
Yeah,
some are writing today.
Okay.
Or have written today. So it was immediate solution he proffered to it. He didn't just come to say, I'm sorry. And his transparency, responsibility, accountability is enough to give that man...
Another chance to
Yes,
continue.
another chance again.
But will you call that like him coming up and apologizing, and that's fine by you, being transparent and apologizing to the public? What's the assurance that it won't happen again? Because this is Nigeria, right? And we are used to the fact that people, or some people who still have integrity left in them, will come out and apologize for their mistakes, and then it's still
You don't know Professor Ishaq. Professor Ishaq has unquestionable character. Now, let me tell you, apart from the fact that this incident happened, he came to apologize and all. Backstory, Professor Ishaq has been in the education system for quite a while.
Yes, he was.
When he was the Vice Chancellor of University of Ilorin, if you know the height he took that university to, is one of the highest ranked universities just in Africa. And even leaving that aside, before he became the JAMB Registrar, before his appointments by President Muhammadu Buhari, as at that time, the revenue that was generated by JAMB, it was quite all right, but remitted to the federal government was little, around 50 million naira. But from his appointment in 2016 till now, it's about 8 to 9 billion that is remitted to the federal government. Now, that's someone that is transparent and has accountability. He can show that, yes, we have generated this and this revenue, and this has been remitted. But he has made reforms, implemented so many,
for some persons, Mercy, yes, this is revenue generation is good for the federal government to have funds to, carry out project and the rest. But we're talking about the lives and the future of not just lots of Nigerians, but the nation too, right? Beyond revenue, we want good people in governance, in positions of government to get things done the right way. But with these glitches and with matters like this, and Raphael has said, shouldn't there be fresher blood, as we like to say, mounting this position so that we'd have fresh ideas and new things emerge within JAMB?
Let me paint a scenario or ask a question. Let's say, for instance, we are in a war ground, We have a very experienced general, knows everywhere where there are minefields, everywhere about that war zone. And then something happens, you lose a battle that particular day. Do you toss the general out? Someone has been giving a lot of victories for years, and just one loss, you say no, he's inexperienced. You send him out. You're looking for fresher blood that doesn't know the domain, doesn't know anywhere around it.
Okay, fine. You are saying that a common mistake. What about the aftermath of the event? Now you are
He
saying
has come to
He has
apologize.
come out to apologize.
He has also
But
come to
has
provide
he thought
solution for
about
it.
the impact it will make on those young people?
He didn't do it. It was not intentional. So he did not think of an
can
impact.
imagine me going for exam 2 times.
It was not intentional.
I personally, when I was preparing for my UTME, I used to go to tutorials, and the hall is congested, heat and everything. Fine, people have to come early, sit down with past questions, battling them. In fact, in the night, we deprive ourselves of sleep. Even on the day of the exam, before, because I wrote my number 12. People who were meant to enter, they were already reading, preparing to show the tension, to show that they took this exam as life or death. And you are now telling me that it was a glitch. I should go and read again. Isn't that creating a sense of more education? I'm tired of education.
No.
That is creating
That's why
educational apathy from you.
Humans are not perfect. There's always some sense of imperfection.
Human beings
Once
are
you
not
understand
perfect, but
it,
it is
you will
said
know
that
that.
to be forewarned is to be forearmed.
And now it has happened. Will
This
it
has
happen
not
again?
happened before.
Yes.
In different
And
years.
you should appreciate the fact that it has not happened before.
We've experienced
You should be
technical
happy that it
glitches.
has not happened before.
When something becomes occurring, there is a need to ask questions.
How many stories of technical glitches have you heard in JAMB? How many times have you recorded massive failures like this one?
Well, we've seen failures in the past. Maybe
Failures.
just
This
maybe,
is different. This was not a systemic glitch. This was also human errors.
Okay.
Why are we only talking about Ishaq?
Okay, so again, we've seen failures in the past. As a matter of fact, those who data analysts in looking at this data for 2025 did say that in the past, why is this shocking really, what we had this in 2025, that in the past we've seen something similar, but it just feels like something is different, and that's why people queried that. And you know that as we continue as a nation, the consciousness, political consciousness, and as a matter of fact, consciousness to ensure accountability and transparency is growing, especially among the young people. And that's why we see the clamor now. Who says this has not happened in the past? Who says it wasn't ignored in the past? But that said, that's just one side. Raphael has said the man, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, should step down as the registrar of JAMB. Mercy has said, no, don't step down. This is just one of those things. Oh well, let's talk about the board itself. Maybe not just the board, but the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. Some have said, well, it is time for JAMB to be scrapped. It's done, it's beat, it should go. Let me begin with you, Mercy. Do you think that this examination, as a matter of fact, the board and the examination it conducts is necessary? Should it go?
No, I don't want it to go. Okay? It says that this is Unified Tertiary Matriculation Exam, right? It's like a regulatory exam for students that are going into tertiary institutions.
Yes.
And it's very necessary, if not, to have influx of certain students to certain universities, and other universities will be neglected. Okay? Apart from that, I also believe that JAMB or the exam itself is necessary to shake students to know just a little taste.
Test their knowledge.
Yeah. Of not even just test and a taste of what they are going into.
What they will see when they get to university.
I don't believe it should be scrapped. I don't go with the idea. I can just say it should be developed, upgraded. Something more stringent, more organized. Is the word, organized. If you are going to have this exam, provide conducive centers. The system glitches should be worked upon. Such things should not repeat itself again, or it shouldn't be scrapped.
Raphael, you wrote this thing twice. Do you think it's not necessary?
I didn't write it twice. It was once I wrote.
Oh, you wrote it once. Yes. Okay, that was back in 2023.
Yes.
Fantastic. And yeah, do you think this was, it was so stressful and unnecessary?
For me, I would say JAMB should be scrapped. Reason because when I was registering for my JAMB, I selected the location close to where I stay.
Okay.
But for whatever reason, whatever thing that happened, I was posted at Remo, Elisha.
You registered somewhere close.
Yes,
How far is this location? Your location to the destination, to the center?
Very far.
Do you by any chance register late?
I didn't register late. I had to go to Remo. In fact, I left very early in the morning. My grandma was like, hello, how are you going to do? But thank God that I was not the only one. Some other guys that really went to
So
for me, I would say JAMB should be scrapped. Look at other West African countries. How do we hear them say anything like JAMB? It's just after your O level, you apply for any school of your choice, and then you go to the processes, and then you are picked. I don't see the need of JAMB. I would just see that JAMB is actually a way for generating revenue for the government.
You know, Nigeria is the country where this sort of processes could be rigged, right?
Could be rigged.
That's why JAMB is like a regulatory body. And that is why it's necessary. I understand the glitches, the location, the distance, the timing. All this should be worked upon. I accept that. All this should be worked upon. But for the exam itself, not the situation surrounding it, the exam itself to be scrapped, I don't believe.
How about, you know, this different processes? You know, the JAMB conducts the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. The school will do their screening and the rest. Does that not come back to what Raphael is trying to say? You're going to go through JAMB, and then the school would still go through your document and everything.
Even some schools do post-UTME, which is another stress.
You know, like I said before, without this JAMB, there will be influx of students into certain universities. Everybody wants to pick Unilag. So Unilag, when they get the pass the cut-off mark or whatever, the standard for JAMB to get into Unilag, Unilag says that they can't hold so much students. If not, how would the standard of education be for the students?
They also decide to cut the students down. Entrance examination like post-UTME.
That is the entrance examination.
The result, not JAMB, like
the one done by the school.
Yes.
That's what the post-UTME is also for.
No, then what's the need of JAMB for when they post-UTME? What's the need of JAMB?
Post-UTME alone cannot be enough.
So wait, okay.
Some people will be
so you're telling me.
Imagine out of the 2 million candidates I wrote, about 1.2 are applying to Unilag alone.
Then that will be the decision of the institution.
It can be enough. Some people have to know that yes, this was the reason why I was not admitted. If you just write post-UTME, you can say it was rigged. I know why I wrote. They will tell you I know why I wrote.
So can we also say that people who are doing this in like the Western world, they don't write things like this, right? They do their necessary exams and they apply. Are you telling me that it's rigged as well?
All I'm telling you is this is Nigeria. This is a system where things are known to be. Look at the election.
So
we're talking about JAMB results.
So
we have to solutions to receive. When election results are rigged, what happens?
That when we are saying this is Nigeria, we are thinking Nigeria to be a different country where everything goes.
Look at the present situation of the country and judge from that. Don't look at what's going to happen next.
Okay, so again, this conversation is quite a crucial one, and would continue to have this conversation. In fact, the debate swells even further, and that's because about the situation in coming days, whether Professor Ishaq Oloyede would step down, be sacked, or continue as the registrar of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board. Well, there will be further questions and further pressure, petitions by Nigerians as to whether the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board should continue to conduct the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. I've read from my guests today, Raphael as well as Mercy. They have shared passionately their thoughts about this talk on this subject matter, one of the most controversial, I dare say, matters within the educational space in Nigeria. And indeed, it is swelling. In fact, it's taking a political and tribal turn or twist this past few days, which shouldn't be, by the way. But yes, I'll just take your final thoughts, Mercy and Raphael. Let me begin with, we started with Mercy, so it's only fair to start with you as we close. So, final thought on this particular conversation.
So, for me, my final take on this should be, or is rather, that JAMB should be scrapped. I mean, if the Western world is doing it and we're not having issues, I mean, the Westerners have brought education, formal education to Nigeria, right? They brought the system, they brought the format. And if it works there, it could work here too. Instead of going, because at the end of the day, it's money that is going. Nigeria's economy isn't smiling. People barely feed three times. A parents who are struggling will pay for JAMB form, pay for transportation of their children if they are being sent to far places. Some people even have to book hotels a day before. I was even, the day when we were having our exams, this girl was posted to Ota from Oweo to Ota. Now, how will she be able to do that without the right resources and finances and everything? She'll say, eh. So please, I strongly believe that JAMB should be scrapped. Kudos to Professor Ishaq for coming out and apologizing. It shows that he's really a good leader. But a time has come when we should, you know, give more people who are more experienced. Youngsters, we have educational people who are tech-driven and smart academically. No one can come to me and tell me that Nigeria is dull. No. We have people who are tech-driven and educationally smart. So I think it's high time these people come to the floor and bring what the 21st century needs.
What I believe right now is that when something is not working, you don't toss it out. You find a way
to fix it.
So we're not going to toss JAMB out. We're not going to toss Professor Ishaq out. We'll find a way to fix what's going on. And then we will fix it, I assure you.
We'll fix it.
We will.
We'll fix
it. The glitches, the human errors, everything that has happened.
Will his statements, sorry to counter you, will his statements refund candidates?
They didn't pay for this receipt. They didn't pay for this receipt.
Nobody's talking about that. Will his statements boost the morale of the candidates going to receipts? Let's think about that. Will his statement, you know, boost the morale? Because I believe that somebody
believe that if they see a chance, if they see a second chance,
because of this,
if they see a second chance to prove what they really wrote, to prove that yes, I'm not a failure, they will take it wisely.
All right, let's see. Some have said to the candidates we're sitting to, close to 400,000 of them, that, well, it is time to prove JAMB wrong and make your parents and indeed Nigerians who stood by you petitioning JAMB, you know, it's time to make them proud and ensure that you pass this time and pass very well. We'll see how things go. We want you to stop by the comment section. Let's know, do you think that Professor Ishaq Oloyede should step down or be sacked and replaced with, as Raphael will say, a young blood, someone who's more tech savvy to lead the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, considering that the examination now is tech based, you know, if you like, tech driven, right? And Messi has said, no, this is a problem. This is a problem that needs fixing, and you need an experienced person like Professor Ishaq Oloyede to fix the problem. Stop by the comment section. Let's know what you think. Thank you again, gentleman and lady, for coming. At this point, I'll say thank you this way. And yes, you want to give yourselves a handshake if you like. That's fine. That's fine. No, come on. You can do it. That's fine. Thank you very much. That's the show. Crosstalk today. Many thanks again for being a part of the show. Until next time, may God continue to bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Bye for now.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.